Hello, everyone. My name is Kerrie Bodendorf, and I'm here with Dolores Natividad, right?
Yes.
And Dolores, thank you for being here with me today. And tell me, where are you from, and how did you first find out about the melt method?
Hi, thank you, Kerrie, for asking me to join you today. So I now reside with my husband in Kensington, Brooklyn. And I first heard of Melt through Zoe Levine,
Hmm.
who was at the time a fellow Brooklynite and invited me to one of her in-person workshop classes. And it was a really good timing for me because I was having hip pain. And the first class that I took with her, I do remember that my walking stride, my gait changed. I remember I didn't have any hip pain at all.
Mm.
I slept better that night. I remembered very clearly because it was like, what the heck did we do with the
Yeah,
ball and the roller?
right.
What is this?
Hardly anything, right? Yeah.
And the next day I was still feeling some of the effects of the treatment. So I
Mhm.
knew I needed to investigate that. So that was really my first.
Yeah,
Yeah.
wonderful.
Um, and in like 2012, right after I think Sue had published her first book, I did take a class with her in Manhattan. And I was, again, very intrigued with the system. It made sense to me with my own background as a yoga therapist and a physiologist. I was like, this makes sense,
Yeah,
just the methodology.
right. Wonderful. So first it was hip pain, and after the
Mhm.
first class, it felt better.
Mhm.
I love that story. I hear that story over and over again. It doesn't happen for every single person because remember, it takes years to get our bodies in the compensatory patterns that they get into and the pain patterns that we get into. But yeah, after the first session, people very often sense changes. And I just want to show these very soft tools. We use foam rollers, and we also use these very soft balls on the hands and feet. Um, and one of the best things about melt is we don't cause pain to get out of pain. So what else has melt helped you with?
So I also really love that it's an indirect approach, and so I can really stay within my lane of practice, and really providing the best choice system or therapy for my client, my family, and friends. My mother, for example, had brain surgery,
Mm,
and it was due to a stroke. And I literally it was during a holiday and it was on a weekend in El Paso, Texas, in Las Palmas Rehab Center. And her hand was like a claw.
mhm,
And I was literally just learning the training for hands and feet with the balls. And I proceeded to have her do the treatment with the softball only.
mhm.
And I wasn't even saying the why and the what and the four R's or any of that, but I just really had her just go through the treatment. I guided her with my hands. And literally, that was like maybe Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I also was doing her feet. But when the physical therapist came in
Mhm.
and the doctor and nurses came back, the regular ones on staff, they were like, Alicia, your hands look so good. I mean, they really couldn't
Right.
believe it.
What have you
And
done?
yeah, in fact, they were asking like, who are you? Are you a doctor? They were like freaked out because she was now able to like scoop her with the spoon. She was able to feed herself.
Mhm.
Her hand was not a claw. So
That's
this was just
amazing.
after a few days.
Mhm.
And I even learned right there, then and there, the power of indirect. I mean, it was just the balls, not even the roller yet. And I've seen that over and over again with my people, and particularly now online, is the modifications of using the half roller instead of the full. When people can't get on the floor, I'll say, well, get on your bed. And when I've worked with people after hip replacement, using the half roller on the bed just to start to do rebalance and really staying away from the surgery site. And it helps them. Because one thing I did see, I did have a total hip replacement, and this was in 2014. And what I will say, I came home on Saturday. Thursday was the operation, was home on Saturday. The day after my surgery in the hospital, I was melting my hands. And I knew to do that because I knew it was going to help me with my crutches. I knew it was going to help me to get reconnected on a very neural core level. And it was going to help me to just soften up in my upper body and really begin to use my legs in a more seamless way with my new hip. I knew that, but no one would be able to tell me that except another fellow melter.
Exactly.
Right. And when I got home from the hip replacement, a few days later, I was in bed with a half roller doing rebalance. So I remember thinking, how can I help people to access this? And this is now years later. I did become kind of the hip expert in my area. It wasn't a coincidence that so many people were coming to me for pre and post-op like hip pain, and it was and I was using melt to help them with that.
Wonderful.
Yeah, no, I'm very, very grateful. And the other thing, because I teach like yoga for arthritis, and of course, working with people who may have some chronic and acute pain or actually diseases, dysfunctions in the body. And what I have loved is how melt has been very accessible to these different populations that I'm really advocating for. And I really appreciate that, extremely so. And even if I don't have the balls and the roller, I just the philosophy of it, the method, and the words that we're using, gliding, shearing, point position pressing. Sometimes I can even begin to imitate some of these things, in a very simple way. But I'm grateful again, even with all of my knowledge, hydration. Even the simple, I'll ask people, do you drink enough water? Oh, I'm in so much pain. And they'll inevitably, many times, will sheepishly say, no.
Right. And people don't even realize it, especially if they're used to drinking teas and coffees that may have caffeine in it, or just drinking things that aren't water. We're so chronically dehydrated, we don't even realize we're thirsty. And
Right.
there are books written about that. I think there's a book called You're Not Sick, You're Thirsty. So sipping on water slowly and consistently is the way to stay hydrated. And sometimes people get to 3 and 4 in the afternoon and realize, oh my God, I haven't had any water. And
Right.
you can't play catch up, right? So when we become cellularly dehydrated, that's when our joints fall out of alignment and we have all kinds of pain in the body. So definitely getting some more water in there slowly and consistently, and then working that fluid into your tissue with your soft tools.
Definitely. And I really, I see people making changes. Like I go to people's homes. Yesterday, my lady with MS, she has her water right there. She'll have her coffee, doggone it, but she'll always have her water with.
Right.
And she's decreased, but she's really increased her water intake.
Wonderful. Yeah, don't tell your coffee lovers that they can't drink coffee anymore. We would never say that.
No, I'm
drink
not
water too.
But I just always say drink water, always have it by you. And she has increased her intake. And that's a huge part of our system, is the hydration, and also the timing of it. After each map, we sip a little water. It doesn't have to be the whole glass. And it actually makes, even if it's one map, what I really like, it could be a mini map. If you have 1 minute, 2 minutes, then drink a little water just to make it piecemeal, easy, and manageable. And I really, really do like that. It doesn't have to be a 30-minute or hour map sequence.
Right. Yeah, you can melt in as little as 10 minutes, 3 times a week, and you can really make some changes in your body. And what I love about what Dolores is saying is, that indirect approach, we talk a lot about that in Melt. And, people come to us all the time and say, I have pain right here, and they are thinking that, okay, we're going to put the roller right there and work right on that.
Like,
What we do is we actually work very far away from the pain site, because the culprit could be coming from far away in your body. So if someone comes to me with severe neck pain, the last thing I'm going to teach them how to do is the neck release sequence. I'll usually go right for the hands, the rebalance sequence, which is all about breathing, and the foot treatment. And after those treatments, even though we got the roller nowhere near the neck, we can make some changes in the neck. So I love that you brought that up.
and I do want to say something about 3D breath, because when I've taught this, even to fellow very advanced yoga teachers, yoga therapists, and I've taught them 3D breath and break it down, they freak out. They're like, oh my God, no one has ever taught me breath that way.
Yeah. And they're the breathers, right? There's lots of
we
breathers.
are we are the breathers. So I just want a shout out to 3D breath.
Yes. And 3D breath is part of the rebalance sequence, which really does help to quiet the nervous system, helps us tap into that parasympathetic state, the rest and restore mechanisms, and helps our bodies heal from the inside out. So Dolores, do you teach melt classes at all?
I do. I'm presently teaching online melt method class on Tuesdays, and I do alternate 6 p.m. and 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Times.
Wonderful. So we're going to put Dolores's contact information in the description of this video. And if you would like to share your melt story with me, I'll also put my contact information in the description section of this video. Dolores, thank you so much for joining me today.
Kerrie, thank you for always really being very inspirational. And seriously, you've been really very generous in your teaching, and you're my melt mentor.
Oh, thank you.
You
Thank
really are. So thank you so much. I
Thank you for
appreciate
tuning
you.
in, everybody. Happy melting.
Happy melting. Bye-bye.